Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tim Dillon bonus episode, Patreon bonus content. Can they hear me, Ben?
Yes. I'm making sure there's no wind.
We're sitting outside. Is the wind chime going to throw people off?
I took it down.
We've got a lot of neurodivergent people listening. Is it okay that there's a wind chime? Is it going to make you guys think, is it going to give you flashbacks of getting raped in the South? Tucker reached out, wants me to do the show. Tucker Carlson. Now, some people don't like him, I've read. Is that true? He's controversial. He's reached out, right?
Yes.
And he wants me to do the hour because he does an hour on Fox Nation, which is a internet platform. Why do you keep adjusting? I know that it's your job, but it bothers me.
Well, at the very beginning, I just have to adjust until it's perfect.
I mean, okay, we'll keep doing it. But eventually it's going to have to end.
But then it ends, yeah.
But then because this, I feel like you're making your job look harder than it is so that I have to pay you more. You go, look how many times I turned the knob. That's what I feel like it is. Hello?
Oh, hey, what's up, Sal? Hey, what's up, buddy?
It's the greatest general contractor. Thank you, Sal.
I think it's open. You could just go in.
Everything looks great, Sal. Thank you. We got to get him to go build Rogan's Comedy Club. He's doing a great job on this house. How about that?
Okay. Yeah, call us later. See
you, Sal.
Thank you, sir.
They must think we're insane, right? Like, just seeing two dudes sit in chairs in the backyard of a house. I'm like, this is a big industry now. You guys work for a living. You're the suckers. Just sit and shoot the shit. Supposedly, I've said a lot of bad stuff about Portland, Maine. Create a little controversy, move a little tickets. It's fun. We're having fun. I've been there once. Who cares? It's a charming northeastern city. Who gives a fuck? Again, if you can't stand up to ridicule, that's how I know Austin sucks. If your city cannot stand up to ridicule, it sucks. So all the Portland, Maine comedians, and I use that term loosely, and I don't even know if there's a word that's looser than loosely, but whatever. But however you want to identify, I respect. If you want me to call you, I'll call you a comedian. There's a Portland comedian Facebook group where they were like talking about me, and they're not thrilled about what I said about Portland, and somebody screenshotted what we made on Patreon, and one guy went, "This makes me sick." And I wanted to go in the group and go, it makes me sick too. It should be 400,000. The level of content we bring every week. Can you imagine being in a Facebook group as a failed comedian in Portland, Maine? Think about all the lives you could have lived. You're in a Facebook group. By the way, these local comedians set up these Facebook groups because they all have these controversies. They're like, fucking, we banned Dan from the open mic at the water treatment facility because he said Oriental. We have a safe space. We don't tolerate any of that bullshit. And then 9 of these people who are part of the comedy scene in Burnt Corn, Alabama, will debate free speech instead of fucking doing, anything to better their lives. So these little, Facebook groups are just for, mentally unwell people, maladjusted human beings that just, take refuge. First of all, if you are on Facebook for any reason right now, you're sick. If you are a member of a group on Facebook, and I mean an active member, not like you were added to it years ago without your consent, somebody did it as a joke. Everybody went to Camp Ticonderoga, 2006. I'm talking about if you're an active participant in a Facebook group where you go, hey gang, I want to let off some steam. Here are the issues we're dealing with today. Fat comedian Tim Dillon insulted our beloved town, Portland, Maine, where we all love so much, yet none of us have succeeded at all here and won't. Yet we love it, and we got offended that he made fun of it, which is what we should be doing, because we're comedians. We should be making fun of it. But this fat idiot made fun of it, which is why he sold more tickets than we ever will, even though it's not a lot of tickets relative to other markets he sells, and whatever, you know? But they're so mad that I made fun of their thing. It's like that Stanhope bit where Stanhope goes, people get mad at comedians because we made fun. It's like, oh my God, you made fun? You took something and made it fun? It's like, it's amazing to me. But just the idea of a Facebook group getting all up in arms. The local, by the way, you want to get really into the weeds and mental illness? Go visit the local comedians Facebook group. Wherever you live, they have one. They have one. No matter what city, no matter how small, maybe it won't be your town, but a few towns over, they have a local comedians Facebook group. It's my aunt calling from the hospital. She had diverticulitis, or she thinks she does. What's the verdict?
I was right, diverticulitis. So the doctor said, well, you were smart to come because you caught it early, and that's a good thing. I knew what it felt like, because last time I waited, because I just thought I had like a stomach virus, and by the time I went like to an urgent care place, they were like, you have an irregular heartbeat, you have a fever, you probably have diverticulitis, you've got to be in a hospital, we can't do anything for you. And they made me go on IV antibiotics for like 2 rounds. I was there forever.
What? Yeah, it's an inflammation of the small intestine.
Yeah, it's like an out pocket. Like you get like a little out pocket that gets infected. And some people, if you have diverticulosis, it just means you have the little pockets. And I know I have diverticulosis because I had a, whatever you call it, a colonoscopy, and they tell you you have it. But it never bothered me until 2.5 years ago. I had 1 round of it.
Well, they'll prescribe you something, and then you're on your way to.
I have 2 antibiotics. I'm already home. I stopped.
Oh, good.
I gave me oral antibiotics. I didn't have to get IV. So I'm like I knew I was way less sick because last time they said we can't.
This will go on for 3 hours if I don't stop this.
From where I was.
I have to stop this right now. We got to do a hard reset right now.
She was like,
Hard reset. She's on mute. Hard reset. We got to reset the table here. She won't stop.
So Katie goes, when do you think you'll feel good?
It won't stop. It will never stop. The Long Island horror will never end. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm on my way right now to do a show, but let me know how you're feeling, and I'll see you soon for lunch.
Yes.
All right. See you soon. All right. See, they won't stop. Their favorite thing in Long Island is an ailment. They got another ailment. As long as it's not life-threatening, and an ailment will just enable anybody to just go. If you have diverticulitis, see, that's different than diverticulosis. But Tucker, what do we feel about this? Because, a lot of this stuff ends up, I have no problem having a conversation with Tucker Carlson. I don't think that he's like a no person, right? Or whatever. Like, I think. I don't get it. I don't get why people hate him so much. I know that, it's the same reason that everybody hates everybody, right? White supremacist, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if he's a white supremacist. I don't think he's a white supremacist, right?
I don't think so.
I don't think he hates white people. I mean, that's, for watching a show. But I don't know. But what is I don't know. Do I do it for an hour?
Yeah, whatever that means. He wants to do an hour with you as people reached out. So the hour means he has another show, you said?
Well, he does this thing. He brings on people he wants to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these things end up being boring. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's kind of why I don't do them. Because they end up being boring. And then there's a ton of controversy for no reason. Because it was boring. And everybody's up in arms about it. I'm like, it wasn't even fun. Alex Jones was fun. That was fun. Edge of your seat, present, in the moment. Did we go live with that? No, we didn't go live.
No, he wasn't live at that point.
But that was a fun one.
Yeah.
Some of these are like, talk to this guy for an hour. How'd you get your start in comedy? How'd you get your start? Why do people not like comedians? What about the cancel culture? What about the politically correct? What about the mobs? What about the online mobs? What about the cancel culture and the online mobs? What about the cancel culture and the online blah, 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 blah. You're sick. After a while, you go, I'm bored. They're outlawing fun. They're outlawing fun. No, they're not. Stop. It's annoying now. All these people with the COVID. Now, I think the truckers in Canada have a right to do their jobs and not get the needle. But let's also be honest, there's a few of those truckers in Canada. They're motivated by a little more than just a jab. Nobody stands out in Ottawa in the freezing cold over just a jab. There's a few things they want to go into. If you get near them, they'll go into a few things. They'll go into a few things. They're going to bring up a few things. Maybe other than just the jab. They might have a few choice words for certain groups. Doesn't mean that they're not overall correct about civil liberties. You know, some of these truckers, you get them. I don't even know, are all of them truckers? Maybe they are.
Yeah, they're all truckers.
No, they're not all truckers. It can't be all truckers.
Well, how else could they all drive the 18?
Because they just get involved.
No, there's like 18 gears.
No, I know, but that's not everybody there.
Sure.
It's not everybody there.
Sure.
Anybody willing, and I'm not even saying that it's bad to be willing, but anybody who's willing to drop everything they got going on and go out and protest like this, they believe deeply in something. And the anti-mandates, I'm all for that. I think they're right about that. I think mandates are silly. Cases are dropped. What are we even doing here? It's dumb. The ID cards are dumb. The World Economic Forum, everybody's like this new thing, the Klaus Schwab, everybody. Hey, guys, this has been going on for, it ain't new. This is not new. It's the next iteration of it. But all these people that are kind of becoming conscious over like the last few years, like, oh my God. I mean, dude, we've been talking about this shit for a while. Your freedoms are going. It was New World Order, now it's a World Economic Forum. It's the same people, it's European guys in suits that eat babies that don't want you to use the air conditioner. It's never going away. It's never going away, and it's not good, and it's not right. I'm not defending it, but don't act like it's new. Don't act like it's new. What's new is the jab and the ID cards, which most rational people that I know, we're getting rid of that idea, right? There was pushback. There should have been. We're moving on. We're moving on. England's open, no mandates, nothing. A lot of places in America are opening, no mandates. We're moving on here. We're doing other cool shit. Bananas are $25. We're a third world country now. Our currency has been completely devalued. Russia's taking back territory. China's going to march into Taiwan. It's going to be fun. We got other shit coming. Don't worry about this. Worry about the chicken nuggets your kids eat being $45. That's next. I've always said that. I've always said the next thing will be we're going to move on from this pandemic to a total economic collapse where all these people, Great Reset, and NWO, like the whole gang, the whole crew, the whole kit and caboodle, they're all going to come out and they're going to go, hey, here's the deal. Majid Nawaz made some good points about Rogan. They'll give you the government cryptocurrency. You go, here you go. You get a chocolate milk and a couple of fish sticks. Pipe down, stay in the house. Don't start any problems. It's going to be like school lunch. Don't start any problems. Don't complain online, because we're going to take that away from you pretty soon. Go into the house. You're getting mac and cheese. It starts as a powder. Stir it with hot water. Boil the water before you add it to the mac and cheese, because the water's diseased. That's coming. You don't need a job. You don't need a car. You don't need a house. Go live in this pod. Go live in this pod and don't use any energy, because the planet is not doing well. Haven't you heard? We got a lot of problems here. The planet's not doing well. So, and listen, if everybody was like, let's all cut our energy consumption, that would be one thing. But they're going to be flying jets, and there's going to be they're going to be making movies. They're going to be doing all the things that suck up energy like nothing. And they're going to tell you that you can't, get a Ford Windstar because you have 15 kids, but you can't. I don't know. You gotta fit them all in a Scion or something. But that none of that's new. That's all been happening. We've been there. Like the Epstein Island, none of that was new either. It was just, it's just a generation of people figuring out that people don't want them to be free. It's a generation of people. It would help if this generation of people didn't use their freedom mainly to attend rodeos. That would be good. But a lot of people are concerned mainly with going to rodeos and watching clowns run around and going to puppet shows for adults and, drinking bathtubs of sweet tea and passing out in a pool of gravy and heroin. It would make a lot more sense, this idea that, all these people that are babbling and screaming and yelling about freedom, they're not exactly the most, it's not like they're organized, right? The World Economic Forum, they're very effective, right? They, like George Soros goes into all these cities and he goes, liberal DAs, fund liberal DAs, fund another liberal DA, let them fight to see who's more liberal. And then get the bail reform, let everybody out of jail, whatever, it is what it is. Soros is very well financed and he can execute. But a lot of the people who are against what these people want to do, they don't really have any organization because they're at the rodeo. So the problem, look at the Capitol riot, right? It was the most embarrassing thing ever. These people believed that an election was stolen. Was it? Probably not. It just probably wasn't. There wasn't really evidence saying it was. That being said, let's say it was. They believed that it was. They chose to show up outside of the Capitol in costumes with wigs and Viking helmets and run into the Capitol and take selfies in the Capitol. That was the revolution. That was QAnon come to life. So, listen, I'm not against people that are recognizing what's going on right now. I'm totally with that. People that are being educated and going ooh, tech and all this shit. This could be a real problem. They're turning off our... Yeah. But also, you yourself have to be capable of putting together some type of plan of action that doesn't involve wearing a helmet and running into a government building. That's not the best plan of action. Like this new bill in Florida, they go, we don't like the gender theory being taught to 7-year-olds or whatever. So now they have this new bill, the Don't Say Gay bill, where teachers they have to out students. You have to call their parents and say, hey, your son or daughter is gay or something.
Yeah.
It's insane that we're just going to see this pendulum swing between woke lunacy back to Christian militia. It's going to go back and forth. And you go, why are the teachers calling the parents? Why are we not just teaching the kids math and science and reading? We can't even do that. Every country graduates more engineers than we do. We can't even teach the kids that. We're getting involved in their development, which I think is wrong. Kids should be able to figure out who they are, be themselves. Kids are supposed to be friends with other kids. You're not even supposed to like your teachers. Your teachers are not supposed to be positive influences on you. What loser out there? I hate all this shit. Remember people win an Academy Award, they're like, this is for you, Miss Jameson. You always fuck all my teachers. Fuck them, burn them in hell. Every teacher I've ever had is a waste of fucking my time. I just sit in their fucking class. Burn them all in hell. There's not one goddamn person who's ever inspired me in a fucking school. Ever. Some of them were nice enough, but cut this shit that the most influential people out there to your kids are going to be their teacher. How about you raise your goddamn kids? Some fucking teacher, this lot. My drama teacher was the one who believed in me more than anyone. Yeah, maybe, but also maybe not. Sometimes I think about teachers and I go and I start feeling like, oh, they weren't that bad, which is great. But we've really overdone it here, you know? Same thing with the coaches. Well, my coach believed in me. Yeah? Did he? What are you? You in the NFL? If you're not in the NFL, shut up. You know how many people talk about how their coach had a positive influence on your life? Yeah? You work at the Cheesecake Factory. What were you guys running fucking, like, I just don't understand how influential could your coach have been? Running game plays to see who can get the spinach dip out? This idea that teachers are like the be-all and end-all, they're gonna like mold your children. If I had kids and they said, oh, the teacher told me this or that, I go, don't listen to them. Stop listening to them. They're failures. They're teachers. They're not doing anything. They spend it. You know what I would say to my kids? I go, how successful could they be? They spend their whole day with you. You're a kid, okay? You're a kid. Some of them are great. Some of them are fine. But let's be honest. Whatever the teacher said, don't listen to it. Just pass the test. Pass the test, get the grade, get the mark, and get the fuck out of school and go figure out something online like your old man did, screaming in his backyard or popping a puss on Only, whatever you're going to do. But let's stop pretending these teachers are having some fucking huge influence on these kids. Your daughter's not trans because of the teacher, okay? Maybe she's legitimately trans, maybe not. Maybe it's the friends. I don't know what's going on. Who gives a fuck? Who cares? Are your kids rich? Stop worrying about what they do. Stop worrying about their gender identity. Worry about their paper. They got that cash. I want rich kids. I want kids with businesses. This is Gary Vee shit. Gary Vee will tell you. Stop worrying about your gender. Worry about your brand. Worry about your numbers. I don't know. I don't have kids. I guess it's more of a thing if you have kids and, you know, the teachers teach them about fisting at 9 or something. But is that really going on? Maybe it is. There's always some school in San Francisco. They always find some like school. There's always like a school where like some teacher loses her mind and shows the classroom like her labia piercing. You know, I had a teacher named Miss Ruisi. She was a summer school teacher in Lakeview High School. I had to attend summer school in the public school because I failed some of my classes in Catholic school. And Miss Ruisi used to bring her baby to summer school and breastfeed it in the back of the room while we all learned like the quadratic equation. Who gives a fuck? Didn't scar me. Didn't ruin my fucking life. Who cares what these teachers do? Don't listen to them. Honey, don't listen to your teacher. She's an idiot. She's dumb. All right, thank you, Daddy. Don't listen to any of them. I mean, you know, what are the teachers going to start calling the parents out and outing the kids? It's insane.
Yeah, within
hello?
6 weeks. It's crazy.
You know, they're all waiting to the last minute. None of them want to make that call, you know. Hello, is this Mr. Morris? Hi. About 5 weeks ago, I figured out your son was gay. What? 5 weeks ago. I saw your son and another boy, and they seemed gay. That's his brother. Oh. Sorry. How many, you know, calls are they going to get where, like, it's clearly the kids are not gay, and they just call, the teacher just calls anyway? Hi, I've noticed your daughter and her female friends have kind of been getting very close lately, if you know what I mean. No, I don't. This is internet, right? Yes. I think your daughter's a les. What? I think she's eating her friend's box. How about calling if the kid's failing? How about calling if the kid's not doing well? Can we leave sexual politics out of the schools? And I know people on the far left push it all the time. They're like, we need to educate kids about sex. By the way, take sex out of the schools too. I'll get real Bible thumping on that. Teach the kids how to be content creators. I mean, do we really need sex ed? Should be simple. Hey, listen, there's AIDS. Don't let anybody beat you up. If a manager at a restaurant offers you $500 to suck his dick, do it. Do it. Money ain't easy. Money ain't easy out there. I wish I could do sex ed. Have safe sex, or don't. If you get pregnant, you can have an abortion, or you can raise the kid. Like, everybody kind of likes the young girl with the kid. You know? Is that a bad thing to be? You're not. What are you gonna be, the CEO of Revlon? Have the baby. Have the baby. You're no girl boss. What's that baby getting in the way of? Have the baby, walk it around the town. People like it. It's nice to have a baby. People feel bad for you. They offer to do things for you. It's a nice story, but stay hot. Don't get ugly. It's a really cool story if she's like, you know, like on the third date, the guy's really excited. She's like, I gotta tell you about my son, daughter. And then he doesn't run away, and you can see he's really serious, and he's like, it's just nice. It's a nice American story. Get knocked up. Get knocked up, but stay hot. Get knocked up and stay hot. This is sex ed. Don't be gross. Don't be gross, because you and that baby are going to live in a pile of garbage. But get a guy who respects you as a woman, who loves your child, and will respect you. Be hot. If you get knocked up, you be a hot mom, tits out, and some guy will show you, and then you can see how serious the guy is right away. I have a kid. Just want to let you know that, and I don't want to bring people around my kid that aren't serious. Ann Coulter, I watched an interview of her. Some black guy interviewed her, and Chris Morgan or something, and she showed like her humanity. They're like, anything you could tell your younger self. She's like, yeah, get married in college. Everybody's there. You all know each other. Get married then. She had a run, but nobody gives a shit about what she says anymore. She's just in Palm Beach, drowning herself in wine, with all this money, sitting on some couch, screaming about Ron DeSantis or Trump or whatever she's doing. But isn't it, she could have had a family of little Nazi kids. Would have been nice. I don't think it's a bad idea to get pregnant in high school. There was a girl I went to school with, Lisa Rodriguez. She got pregnant in high school. No, she got pregnant in middle school. She had a baby in 9th grade. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being a mother at 14 years old. I don't, truly. People might get mad at me for saying this shit, but this is the way of the world. Stop talking about this nonsense. Start telling the kids it's time to fucking be a family. Don't you want a family? It's not nice to not have a family. I got all this money in a bunch of houses. I should have had a kid. Should have kids. What's the point of it all? My sex ed is I tell all the kids, go have kids. Kids with kids. Kids having kids. But yeah, this new bill, everybody in Florida, they're all up in arms about this. They're all getting mad. What's the big deal? Be the whore. Be the whore with the baby, the hot whore with the baby. It'll humanize you, make you more of a mommy type. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it.
Today, that guy's appealing that amendment to the bill.
Which guy?
Joe Harding, that it's saying representative, because there was so much scrutiny. He's taking that out now, but the bill is still going forward. Yeah,
he's a psychopath. Joe Harding. That's the thing. Every time you think, yeah, I'll go live in Florida, you go, yeah, you know, maybe not. Maybe not. Something goes on there. Something goes on there that's real dark because it's the end. And everyone there knows it's the end. It's the last stop on the train. And everybody knows that. And then everybody just lets it all hang out. It gets real ugly. We have friends that live down there. And it gets really ugly. Really ugly in Florida. Now, I love Florida. But, you just got to pick your time. You got to pick your spots, You and your wife are in a new spot. You're happy about it.
It's great.
Yeah.
I love being in LA. I was going to say the name, but...
What are you worried about saying the neighborhood? You think people are going to find you?
Well, it's not technically Beverly Hills, though.
Is it?
It's technically not. It's the city of Los Angeles.
Well, you get the Courier. You get the Beverly Hills Courier.
I do get the paper.
But is it technically the city of LA?
I think I need to be a few blocks over to be in Beverly Hills, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even live in Beverly Hills. I live technically in the city of Los Angeles, too.
You're 2 blocks from...
But I'm in Austin, Texas right now. My home and love.
Yes.
I'm 2 blocks away. We're doing a show tonight with Joe Rogan at the Vulcan Gas Company. Me, Joe Rogan, and Robert Malone. Robert Malone's opening the show. He has a bluegrass band. Let me tell you about the mRNA. Don't get the jab. You're going to get the jab. As long as Rogan hasn't started a band, I think he's okay. That's the last step, I saw John C. Reilly in Santa Monica once playing with a band, and I said, man, this is bad. That's the end. When a middle-aged guy starts playing a harmonica, that's the end. Because the next step, the next instrument he should play is a gun. So as long as that's not happening, I ride or die with the man. I think he's fine. The minute he takes out a guitar... Didn't Lex Friedman play a good song on the show?
Correct.
I don't love that. Is Lex Friedman even a good singer? I'm asking.
I think he wrote a song for the Joe Rogan Experience. I'm going to look it up right now. I think he made a song about Joe's podcast.
What? This is incredibly disturbing. I could put up with being a KGB asset or whatever he is, but singing, and I love Lex, but writing a song and performing it, too much.
I found it, yeah. So I think he's sung a couple songs. He does the Joe Rogan podcast theme on guitar. He uploaded that to his
that's
channel.
Cool. That's fine.
It's kind of cool.
That's fine.
Shredding. Looks like he can shred.
If you ever came in and said I have a song about the show, I'd kill you. I'd try to kill you with my bare hands.
Yeah, so this is Lex Friedman sings a song for Joe Rogan. Yeah, this is at the end. Should I play a little bit of it?
Yeah. God help us. God help us. As my nanny would say, God help us and save us.
In the desert, I met a man with an eagle perching on his hand. And he asked me, son, what can I do for you? Definitely the stupidest. Father, I said, I'm looking for the meaning I should be living for. He put a finger to my lips, said, shh, let the old
Okay,
man
stop this. I'm pulling my stuff off Spotify now. Now I'm done. I'm off Spotify if this continues. Deplatform him. I was wrong. This is worse than anything that Robert Malone said. That's more dangerous than anything that Robert Malone said. That song. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. First of all, it's a horrible song. It's not good. I was meeting a man in the desert with an eagle. What? Anyway, we'll move on. Barry Weiss now wants us to do our podcast in early March. So there's this really interesting guy. Have you heard of David Cole? He's like a Holocaust revisionist. It's our last episode. Now, he's not a denier. He's a revisionist. So he wrote this book called... There was a secret club in LA of Republicans called Republican Party Animals or something, where secret LA Republicans would come and be Republicans in a backyard. And then they found out that this dude, David Cole, was the head of it or something. But he invented another name for himself because he didn't want to be like linked to some of the past things he'd written about.
Yeah, he's dubbed this book by David Cole, Republican Party Animal, the bad boy of Holocaust history, blows the lid off Hollywood's secret right-wing underground.
So what's interesting about this, right, is like he's a writer, and Ann Coulter like tweets his stuff out. And I've read some of it. It's a little inflammatory, but some of it's well written, and some of it makes sense, right? I mean, obviously there's like, he calls like Jews like saucer heads. He's Jewish. And he calls Persian Jews loud shirts. He's got, it's a, you know, he has like fun nicknames for whatever. Now, he lives in LA. He's like an LA guy. And so but his whole thing about the Holocaust revision is like, I think his whole thing boils down to like maybe it was 4 million. I'm like, well then why? You know what I mean? Like that's his whole thing, I think. Was like, oh, you know, it could have been 4 million. So I'm like, well, why then? What's the whole, why are you dying on that hill? But supposedly I was told to read this book by a mutual friend of ours. You know exactly who. You know exactly who. One of our friends is a gay Jewish Holocaust denier. And he's not, you know, a bad guy, right? He's diverse. Like that's diversity. That's the guy I want to see on Curb Your Enthusiasm. But he's an assistant for our friends, and he's just a gay Jewish Holocaust denier, which is a rarity. But he told me about this book, which I haven't read it. Have you read this book?
No, I have not. I have not.
I haven't even given this guy a new number. Do you still talk to this guy occasionally?
I talk to him from time to time.
Yeah. Again, sweet man.
It's pretty funny.
Funny. Well, you'd have to be. Think about what I just said. He's a gay, Jewish, Holocaust revisionist, and we're not talking about David Cole, we're talking about our friend, or acquaintance. You'd have to be funny,
yes,
right? You'd have to be funny. The medicine would have to go down with a little humor. And I'm not saying it's medicine. I'm saying whatever they're saying is medicine. It goes down with a little, you know, a little sugar makes the medicine go down. You'd have to be a little funny if that's how you interfaced with the world. If you said, sure, I'm gay, I'm Jewish, and I don't believe the Holocaust happened. Remember, our friend had a party for her 14-year-old?
Yes.
And he was in the backyard in LA having a very calm, rational discussion about the Holocaust not really happening. Correct. And you would go outside, and then you go back inside to get a cupcake, and you come outside with the cupcake, and he'd be talking about like the smokestacks in Treblinka. No, it's you know, he's an interesting hang. Isn't there room anymore for a fun hang where you don't have to say this guy's right, but he's a fun, interesting mix at a dinner party?
Yeah, because he's like, so he says, quote, my best guess is yes, there were gas chambers.
By the way, at a dinner, if you just started with that, go, hey, my best guess, there were gas chambers. Immediately, I'm not co-signing anything you're saying, but as a human being, I'm riveted. I'm going, oh, not only do you believe this, but you're coming out with it. Like, he'll pleasantly tell you this stuff. He's the one who put me on to David Cole, but this is a David Cole quote.
Yeah, this isn't from our friend. This is David. We don't know
our
David.
Friend's not published.
We don't know David. He said, but there is still a lot of...
We could know David immediately.
We could, yeah.
I mean, it would be one email. He'd be on the show right now. But we're not going into that. Again, I'm not trying to offend anyone.
Sure.
I'm just saying this is an interesting argument. So what's the quote?
So he says, the best guess is yes, there were gas chambers, but there still is a lot of murkiness about the camps. I haven't changed my views, but I regret I didn't have the facility with language that I have now. I was just a kid, he said this week.
It's funny the things you can write off by being just a kid, you know? That's kind of a funny one. I was just a kid. You know, smoking cigarettes at the mall, questioning questioning the existence of Auschwitz. Just a kid. But he had this book, Republican Party Animals. Is it a book?
Yes, it is a book. Yeah. He said that Auschwitz was not an extermination camp in the manner of Treblinka
Okay, we
Or
don't
the
need
other
to get
one.
into
Yeah,
the
yeah.
weeds here. We don't. This is not.
He claimed it's perhaps 4 million rather than 6.
Which
That's
is such
the-
a
the
weird hill.
thesis. That's
What
the
a
thesis.
weird hill. It's an odd hill. Like, it's one. The other guy that we knew was tweeting on Twitter going, it's actually a hebephile, not. And you're going, hey, just go to bed. Like, what is this hill? I get what you're saying, but what is this? Like, it's an odd hill. What if I went on Tucker and spoke only about this for an hour? I mean, but I was just told to read the book. This is all I'm trying to say.
This book's wild. This guy's a really wild guy.
He's a wild guy.
Yeah.
Now, can you get dinner with a guy like that? Do you get dinner with a guy like that? Just for the stories? Do you invite that guy to Honor Bar in Beverly Hills and do you eat spinach dip and just get the stories?
Oh, yeah. I think we should take him to the Polo Lounge or something.
I don't know about that. Let's not get crazy public with it. You know what I mean? Dark booths. But I'm going, a guy like that, it's a life to live, right? That's a life.
So yeah, when this happened, he became a notorious celebrity. He was ferried from studio to studio, gleefully clashing with historians and Jewish representatives. And then he became uneasy when white supremacists and Islamic radicals appropriated his work. And then he halted public appearances after the OKC bombing in '95. And that's when he kind of put the rap on it.
It's an interesting career when you go, so when did you kind of quiet down? You go, well, after the OKC bombing, I had to take a beat. Life is boring, and I'm thinking it just for a dinner. Life is incredibly boring. And what we're trying to do is make it more boring by... Here's the deal. This is what I'm talking. This is my genuine question. And I'm not trying to ruffle feathers. Is there room in our society currently for the fun Holocaust denier? Do you know what I mean? Here's the thing. We don't hold the belief. How many beliefs your friends have you don't have? A lot. Is there room for like the fun, goofy, silly Holocaust denier? Perhaps not. I don't know. I'm wrestling with this like everyone else. It already happened. I mean, they would say maybe not, but it did. So, is there a danger in entertaining someone's absurd viewpoint?
Looks like you have great stories too. It says his dad, Leon, was a doctor who became a controversial figure for introducing Elvis Presley to Demerol. So he's accused of hooking Elvis on drugs. And
you
killing
know
Elvis.
this guy's reaching out in an hour after this show gets posted. There's 5 emails in your inbox.
Woo.
An hour after the show is posted. Life is boring. What do you want me to say? Life's boring. He's an interesting character. Yes, there's racism in some of the articles. It's not good. You know? But it's an interesting... I'm not familiar with all of the work. I'm not familiar with all of the work. I'm just saying... Hello, is this Mrs. Is this Billy's mother? Yeah. Your son was sucking cock in the locker room. Doesn't it make teachers weird? What are they gonna? They're gonna call up parents and be like, "I watched your son jerk off with another guy," and your son and his friend jerked off in the showers at school. I watched them. I think they're gay. What? Hold on. What's going on here? Hello? Yeah. Is this Mrs. Ashton? Let's just put it this way. I took my hog out in front of your daughter. She wasn't thrilled. I think she's a les. So I don't know. I mean, this is silly. They're reversing the amendment.
Yeah, but it's still a kind of a whack bill, though.
We're going to cover this on the main show, but there's a funny woman in Long Island who refuses to leave open houses because she just starts screaming. She goes, "I'll outbid anyone." Executed contract on my property on the East Coast.
Mhm.
Wow.
Congrats.
Thanks. I always know that you and your wife are thrilled for everything I do. I'm always. That's the real joy of it all, is knowing the happiness that you have for me, you and her. Well, you'll visit.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I love.
Okay. Well, why are we saying that on
Oh
the show?
shit! Sorry. I forgot.
I mean, this is a horrible thing to say. You dummy. Such a dumb fuck. Leave it in now. Who cares?
I'll bleep it out.
Leave it in. Leave it in.
No, I'll bleep it out.
No, leave it in. You know what you're doing. You're trying to get me killed. No, you know what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing. It's a big place. Right?
Damn it.
What? Can you bleep that out?
Of course.
You have to bleep it out.
Of course I'm bleeping
Leave
it
all
out.
this in. But just bleep that out. Bleep out I love blank, I love blank. And people are going to deduce it because they know what you love. You love golf, and that's it.
I love mini courses out on the East Coast.
You're so dumb. You're such a dum-dum. You're not even a member of Riviera. What's the fee?
I think,
200?
I think it's $250,000.
You're a big boy. You can't do that. You can't swing it.
Well, then the monthly fees on top of that.
Wow. Be a man. Be a man. You could go play golf with this Holocaust revisionist. Try to get him in.
Oh yeah.
Is Riviera the course? No, Pebble is better, right?
In California?
Number one is Augusta. We're talking exclusivity and the best.
Okay.
Number one is, let's see if I'm right. I'm going to do the top 5.
Okay.
Augusta, 1. Let me do them in no order.
Okay.
Just 5 courses. Because I'm going to struggle after 3. Augusta, National, right?
Yeah, you got it.
Pebble Beach.
Okay.
Why are you making a face?
Well, are you going off of exclusivity?
I'm going off it's a baller course.
A baller
great
course, sure.
Beautiful.
Because it is. Yeah, go on.
Bethpage Black.
Yes.
Difficult.
Yes.
Difficult.
Yeah.
Fuck. What about the one in Hawaii? You know the one I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I forget the Kauai.
Kauai?
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it. But yeah.
Now the one in South Carolina.
That is Kauai. It's Kawaii.
In South Carolina.
Yeah.
So is that the one I'm thinking of?
No, but there's also one in Hawaii that's really nice.
Right, but the one I'm thinking of is Kauai. I thought
That's
it was in
where
Hawaii.
Phil just won. I forget the name
Phil
of it. but
Mickelson.
yeah,
You
yeah.
call him Phil because you're friends. That's where Phil won.
Well, you won at the age of 50. I mean, it's sort of
It's
a
very
remarkable
impressive.
thing. But you leaving out the West Coast.
What does Phil Mickelson have to say about the Holocaust?
He's defending Saudi Arabia right now.
Good for him. Why?
So there's supposed to be this. Have you heard of this Super League that the PGA Tour, a lot of the good players
No,
might
Ben,
break
I
away
don't
from
follow
it?
golf news.
Well, it's a big deal because, like, if they have the money, they'll just break away and go to this like Saudi Arabian tour. Essentially, I haven't
Right.
followed it that closely, and Phil has kind of defended like Saudis. He's like they're not. He's like we do bad stuff too. He's like, are
They
they
do
that
some bad stuff, though. It's the Saudis.
But he goes, maybe I could be a shining example of how to live if I was on
That's
the.
exactly right, Phil. That's exactly what'll happen, Phil Mickelson. You'll go to Saudi Arabia and you know, and play well, and they'll stop lobbing clits off. That's exactly what'll happen. Oh, did Phil go scratch? Let's not throw that gay person off the roof. Stop. Probably got a couple of bucks. But I have no problem with the Saudis. I live in Beverly Hills, and they keep it mandate-free. Bev Hills is mandate-free.
Oh, he apologized today. He said it was reckless comments.
Because they got endorsements, those guys, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they got every now and then they got to go, hey, why don't you pipe down about the Saudis?
Yeah, because the watch company calls and then the shoe company calls and they all
Right.
they go, hey.
Have you? Because you're a really good golfer. People don't know this about you. You're actually very, very good. From what I've heard,
Yeah, when I've been practicing and stuff, for sure.
you're like really good. But people that have played with you are like, oh, he's really good. People say that.
Yes.
Like, you're really good. Like, when you went out to play with those guys in the Hamptons, were they as good as you?
They were pretty good. I was super rusty, and I was on 3 hours of sleep. I want to let everyone know I was 1 under through 5 holes. I eagled the par 5, number 5, and then I fell off on the back 9. I shot like 13 over because I didn't have any sleep.
How did they do?
They probably shot around in the 80s. I think I shot 83 at Shinnecock on a very windy day, and I blew up on the back 9.
But I was sending you there to blow them out of the water and embarrass them.
Well, we scrambled.
What does that mean?
So I teamed up with his brother, and then he teamed up with his friend who came, and then we played each other.
But what I wanted you to do is shame them and embarrass them.
That's why I will embarrass them again.
Yeah, but no, the fact
again.
that they still talk to you and text you and they're nice to you means you didn't do what you should have done. What you should have done is go out there and fucking put their heads on spikes, and like they should have been like, why are you not on the PGA Tour? Like, it should have been awkward. I wanted you to do so while it was awkward, but again, it's Benny excuses. I had no sleep.
We were
I
in
was rusty.
Foxwoods the night before.
I'm sorry we were working. I apologize for the work. But that's what I wanted you. Are they Patreon people?
They are, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted you to go in and shame them and embarrass them. They took you to some nice house, right? Some mansion that gave you bacon, egg, and cheese, and you didn't perform. You got soft. And you went out there and you shot in the 80s, which is grotesque, okay? I wanted you to kill.
Well, it's one of the hardest courses.
Oh, who gives a fuck? Stop this shit. It's one of the hardest courses. All I'm saying is I wanted you to really put it on.
Yeah, I wanted to too. I wanted to turn up.
What did they say? Were they like, oh, you're good, or?
I mean, yeah, like they thought I was good for sure, but like I didn't perform well. You know, I was nervous. I was on very little sleep, and I didn't really show up the way I wanted to.
Right, and yeah. So it's a disgrace.
It wasn't a great showing by me. The front 9 was good though. I think I shot like 3 over on the front 9.
And then what happened? The yips. What do you call it? You got in your head?
No, I was just tired.
Fell apart on the back 9. You fell apart.
I fell apart. Yeah, I went like double, triple, and then
wow.
Then it was just all over from there. The wheels came off the wagon.
And how were they doing? Were they just kind of like?
They were fine because they were well rested. They had the bacon, egg, and cheese that morning. They didn't drive from New London across the ferry.
It's so hard.
I fell asleep on the ferry, the New London ferry, and the guy had to like poke me with a broom.
Yeah, it's like the first scene in Dolores Claiborne, where they wake up Jennifer Jason Leigh. She's on the ferry.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Okay. Well, sorry. I apologize for whoever the hell these people are. I apologize for giving you this lemon. But hopefully maybe you can redeem yourself at some point.
I will this summer.
Because I really want you to kind of execute.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to execute. We're not here to make friends. We're here to take names. I wanted you to have such a great thing that they inducted you into Shinnecock, which I know never happens. But I wanted them to say, you know what? This poor Texas trash bag did so well. We're going to induct him in.
An honorary member.
Yes, something like that. But of course, where did you stay that night, by the way?
I flew out of Islip.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I fell asleep on the plane.
I was going to I was going to find out if you stayed at like Gurney's or something. I was going to make you pay for it. I was going to challenge that reimbursement.
Oh, no, I did not stay there.
Well, only because you didn't do well. You didn't deserve it.
I think I flew to Charlotte, and I had the Bojangles chicken that I like, and then I went to Austin from there.
Yeah, but didn't you miss your flight once because of Bojangles?
Yeah, I ate a bunch of Bojangles chicken at the Charlotte airport, and I fell asleep in the front row, like where people are lining up, and there's no one. I turned to the lady next to me. I said, I think I'm going to fall asleep. I'm so tired. I just ate a bunch of chicken. Please wake me up if I fall asleep. And she didn't fucking wake me.
I wouldn't have either. Live with your decisions. We got to leave soon. We got to do a show with Joe Rogan at the Vulcan Gas Company. We got 5 left. Okay. Because, we got to do the comedy here that we are paid to do. Maybe I'll try to do some new stuff tonight. I always feel pressure to do well there, But that's probably my fault. The water pressure in the shower sucks.
Well, I saw the faucets are off over there, so I don't know what's going on.
But the water's on in there.
It is? But it sucks?
Yeah, but it's just the pressure's not good. How is the pressure in your house?
Really good. Really good.
Nothing's better than the Mark.
No.
In New York City, that hotel.
Well, when the water works.
When it works. Why is it so damn good, huh?
I don't know, man.
It's the best shower you'll ever have. at the Mark Hotel where a stalker came in and started screaming at me.
Oh, she emailed me, by the way. The stalker emailed me a video that I clicked
what?
on. I didn't realize it was a stalker. The subject line was ranch, and the video was her rubbing lotion on her legs, talking nonsense for 7 minutes. It didn't make any sense.
What kind of nonsense?
Like, it was literally like gibberish. Like, I couldn't make any sense of any of it. I could barely hear it because the phone was like on
That's
the ground.
very scary.
It was Excedrin. Is that the lotion? Or
Excedrin is a headache medicine.
or whatever the lotion is that sounds like that.
Eucerin.
Yeah, that one. She was rubbing all over her legs in a weird, like, Snow White robe. It was like Snow White smoking
We're going to have
weed.
to kill her.
Get ready to turn left.
No, it's kill or be killed out there. We're going to have to kill her. Is she a member? Can we get her out of this Patreon and everything?
Yeah, I guess I have her email now. I could block her from the Patreon.
I mean, she's something else. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that. Some woman rubbing Eucerin on her legs talking gibberish.
Yeah.
And you're telling people where I live? I'll kill her. If she comes anywhere near my house, I will kill her. I think in Texas, I'm allowed to kill her.
Yeah.
In Texas, I'm encouraged to kill her. Greg Abbott will wheel himself out here and he'll kill her. Isn't he in a wheelchair?
He is.
Right, I'm not saying that disrespectfully.
A tree fell on him.
I respect that he keeps going. TimDillonComedy.com for all tickets. We're shutting this shit down real soon. I'm sick of going on the road. It's too much. Too many planes, trains, and automobiles. Late March, special shot. Then we're in the UK. Maybe a few dates in Canada in April, but then we're on the internet all summer and, spring, summer, fall, trying to get new material. Sick of topical, sick of all this bullshit, like retiring all these jokes, COVID jokes, shit like that, whatever. Jokes that I've been doing for years because tours got shut down and then restarted. And
Oh, you just had it Brea, by the way. I don't know.
we had it Brea. Buy tickets to Brea.
March 11th,
please.
12th, 13th. Brea
March
Improv.
11th, 12th, and 13th. It's by Anaheim, California.
That's correct.
Buy tickets to that, please. Come on into Brea with your Aunt Annie's dusted fingers and enjoy some comedy. Annie Ann's, what do they call it? Auntie Ann's?
Auntie Anne's.
Ugh.
It's the pretzel. Yeah.
I just grew up with great bakeries, and then there's not a lot of that
Turn
out
right.
there anymore. So we're here in Austin, Texas, greatest city in the world, #1 city on planet Earth,
I'll find a
best
new
food ever. If you want good food, come on down to Austin, Texas, where you can either have a donut or a taco, because all the food here is made for college drug addicts. It's a town for college kids. But I do want that Gordo's donut with the strawberries on it. It's very good. I'll be in Portland, Maine tomorrow. You putting this up tonight?
I can put it up early. It's not supposed to come out till Thursday. But I can put it out tomorrow or tonight.
Maybe I don't know, because we put it. Then they get mad if next week isn't early,
Yeah,
right?
correct.
You can't give them too much here.
Keep
No, they go
right.
crazy. If you give them a
then
couple days
turn
early,
right.
then they go nuts.
And then the next week they're screaming.
Well, then they scream a day before, the 2 days before you put it out the week previous. It's always like earlier than it should have been. Does that make sense? Like they'll always keep.
I'm gonna call their parents and tell them they're gay.
Have you read the book If You Give a Mouse a Cookie?
No, what is that?
It's a little mouse in the book, and the mouse just wants a cookie. It's like, oh, it's just a little mouse. They give it a cookie. Eventually, the mouse ends up like moving in and like taking over their lives, essentially. Because it's like you give them an inch, you give them a mile. It's that metaphor, sort of.
They made us read like The Great Gatsby in the school that I went to,
Never mind.
but everyone's education is different. You know,
Turn
everyone's education is different. I don't judge you. Have they come to see me live? Your the golf kids?
They came to Caroline's in New York City.
Ugh, it was the worst show ever.
Yeah.
And then
Was it
turn
one of the
right.
bad ones? Caroline sucked. It wasn't great.
They said it was great. They said
Well,
it was a
they're
really good
being
time.
polite.
And they didn't come to the Beacon because they were working late. They couldn't
Oh,
make it.
stop. But
Oh, stop.
working late. You're already rich. Cut it out. All these rich kids want to do something good. Shut it out. Stop it.
And then
I'm going to
turn
create the next app. It'll be a legacy. Stop. Just enjoy. Buy the ticket to my show. That's what I mean. Oh, Lord, help us. God, help us and save us. Yeah, we gotta go, dude. It's fucking. What time is it?
I do want to say it's like 6:30. I do want to add. You added a late show in Richfield, Connecticut, so I do.
Yeah,
want
go to the
that.
Richfield Playhouse and get tickets to
Late
late show in
show.
Richfield, Connecticut. It's a big waste of my time. Can you check what time the show is at the Vulcan Gas Company tonight?
Yeah.
Joe Rogan and Friends.
Turn right.
I'm like running on empty. Just have little eggs in the morning and some kefir. 8. So he's 8,
It's
right?
8. Yeah, it's 8.
It's only one show? I'm not doing 2.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I got an early flight to Portland, Maine for no goddamn reason. No, it'll be a fun show. We've sold over 1,000 tickets there, which for that market I think is good.
Yeah, it's just the one show.
It should be fun. And yeah, I'm excited to just get off the road and concentrate on doing some fun shit online and working on a movie perhaps and some other things. I'm in Euphoria, by the way. Why are you laughing? Do you know that? Have you seen the last episode of Euphoria?
I didn't know.
So you're laughing like I'm lying, but the reality is I literally was in it. This isn't one of those things where I'm doing a bit.
Okay.
I literally was in it.
What were you in it?
I was like an extra, like literally I was, no. They were shooting, let me explain it to you.
Okay.
They were shooting at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And I'm in it. As in, I've been tagged on Twitter like 5 times. Why are you laughing? Why is there no trust? Why don't you trust me at all?
I'll type it into Twitter.
Tim Dillon Euphoria. I'm in the show.
So people have been tagging you in this.
Because the cast fucks me. The whole cast fucks me in the scene. They paid me $50. Sam Levinson paid me $50. Should we start a war with Euphoria, the cast of Euphoria?
Absolutely.
We should have Ida and Devin on more. People love them. Why did they turn on Ida and Devin so much? You know, sometimes Ben's not in town, and I want to go record, and they have a setup. And what happened with these people where they turned on Ida and Devin to the point where, Ida and Devin were getting death threats from the people on the Patreon. I'm trying to understand what was the turn.
They move like they're an odd dark force. The Patreon people. They move and they shift and they can collect and form into weird shapes, and they can just all of a sudden overnight they just became this beast that attacked Devin and Ida like relentlessly, like nothing I've ever seen in my life.
Were they wrong? Because Ida was doing sexy voice the whole time. She's like, yes, yeah. Do you think that's true? Yes. And she doesn't act like that in real life. We wouldn't hang out with her if she did.
Right.
But they hate them, right?
They hate them a lot.
Was there anyone that said anything nice about them?
Man, I don't think so. I don't think on the last one they had, I don't think there was like one.
No, everybody's like, I'll cancel my membership. I'll kill them. I'll kill myself. I'll kill you. I don't know what they did, but they can never come near the show again. Like, it's for their own safety. For their own personal physical safety, they can't come near the show. I don't know. I trust the Patreon a little bit. I trust the Patreon a little bit where I go, maybe I wasn't keyed into what was going on, but the Patreon's like, this can't go on anymore. This must stop.
It was so weird because they were like half and half. Half loved them, half hated them. And
they never were universally accepted. But this last run, they were calling me fearing for their safety, their personal safety. But we don't know why. We don't understand. All right. It's time to go. You got the hour, folks. We've debated the issues of the day. We've clarified them. We've asked the important questions. We've come to should we do Tucker? Have we made a decision on that?
I say you go for it, depending on.
I might do it.
Depending on what it is, though, because I don't know what it is.
What do
yet.
you think it'll be?
Well, I don't know if it's a new show he's doing. I don't know if it's for a certain segment. I don't know what he. What I don't
I think
know.
it's an hour on his Tucker thing that he does.
Then do it.
I think I'll do it.
Yeah.
I have no problem doing it. I'm not going to live my life based on what psychopaths on Twitter are going to say.
Right.
You know? I don't really care. But ask me a question as him, and then I'm going to respond.
Now, how do you feel about cancel culture currently ripping through we've seen this with Spotify, with Joe Rogan and Neil Young
Right.
going head to head.
Right.
We've seen this now with a lot of artists are
Right.
pulling themselves off Spotify. You're a pretty well-known podcaster and comedian. Do you have any? I know you're friends with Joe. Do you back him? Do you support him? What do you say about this?
I think it all starts with the Holocaust.